السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي واجعل لي وزيرا من أهلي هارون أخي اشرح به أزري وأشرك في أمري كي نسبحك كثيرا ونذكرك كثيرا إنك كنت بنا بصيرا. وصل اللهم على محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه وأتباعه وسلم والحمد لله رب العالمين.
All right, we're reading Seedbed of the Light, page 59 on the book, 12b for us. And we're going to be starting with the fourth paragraph that appears on that page, the one that begins with reflect. Reflect on the reality that the owner of this world is the all-preserving. He misses nothing and records and preserves everything in a manifest book. The balance, order, harmony, and measure seen in the world are but a few lines of this book. Those who complete their life and therefore their duties and depart from the visible material world carry their entire life on preserved tablets and their deeds preserved in their results. The Creator keeps them in various mirrors in the visible and unseen world. It is as if many things have been charged with recording whatever we do, how we behave toward the living and non-living entities with which we have some relation.
Any comment? I would say all preserving, we studied last week, so we may not really spend on it. We have some notion of it at least, inshallah. How about he misses nothing and records and preserves everything in a manifest book? What is the manifest book?
The universe?
Yeah. But it is obvious to us, or what we see, really observe it as normal human beings. Yeah. And carry on.
So the balance, order, harmony, and measure seen in the world are but a few lines of this book.
It means this manifest book is not only what we see outwardly. So this, of course, we see the balance order. There is no need to mention, actually, it is obvious. Harmony measure seen in the world, just
Few lines.
a few lines in the book.
So we're saying that the manifest book is not only the universe. It's not only. It's more than that.
As far as we are concerned, it must be this world, but what we see outwardly is only a few lines. For example, we see the balance order, some characteristics that we see in this order of the universe. These are balance, order. It's obvious to everybody. Harmony, measure, everything's measured. Everybody must be sure of it. There is nothing not measured, nothing not in harmony, chaos. We see that here is the universe in front of us. But, for example, in the cells, what is preserved in DNA? In our cells, in our memories. Do you see what is preserved in my memory? And also in the seeds, what are the qualities that are preserved in the seeds? After they are disclosed, that we see what was in it. And we have to wait for 100, 200 years to see what was in the seed of that tree. And also the meanings they carry, which is incredible. The meanings are also preserved in this world, but we don't see them, the meanings. We have to reason and find out as human beings. So of course, we look at the universe from our perspective as human beings. And we discover the meaning only maybe 1 out of 1,000. Maybe, I mean, it's very, very a fraction of the meaning we discover. And we interpret the meaning. How much? How much are we aware of? We can ask and be honest with ourselves. How much are we aware of the meanings which are conveyed to us in creation? How much?
Little.
Most of the time, from my experience, none. Yeah, unfortunately. But at least intellectually, we know that there are endless meanings referring to the qualities of the object's creator, but we don't utilize them, we don't use them. But we know that there are, but we ignore them or neglect to reflect on them. And also, for example, look at a person. What do you see? Yes, you see harmony, you see shape, you see perfect adjustment and balance, measure. Yeah, everything is measured. Yeah, we see outward. How about his human qualities, his or her human qualities? Shall I make a joke? If they have. They say this, I don't know. I don't. So everybody has endless meanings. How would you discover it? How much of it we discover? Human qualities, a fraction of it. Yeah. When we say this, what is your name, gentleman? Hey, the little one. Hey, what is your name?
Emir.
Emir? You are the commander of Emir al-Mu'minin or what? You know, what does Emir mean? The commander, man. Emir, yeah. It is okay, Emir. Yeah. For example, how much of what is going on in his human side? We can say he's a nice guy. He's quiet, respectful, and listens carefully. Tries to understand what's going on. Yep, that's it. How about emotional side? Aspirations, fears, hopes. Yeah. It's an amazing creation, really. Amazing creation. If you want to make more comment, please go ahead. Otherwise, we can continue.
So I have a question in the next line. Those who complete their life and their duties and depart from visible material world carry their entire life on preserved tablets and their deeds preserved in their results. I guess I get the first part of that sentence as to what the author is trying to say. Is like those who complete their life, in the sense that those who live through their existence, at least within this world.
And we are talking about this world now.
Yeah.
For the moment.
Right. And depart. When they say what, this is where my question lies. I guess I don't understand what the author is trying to say here. Is once they depart from the visible material world, carry their entire life on preserved tablets. What is preserved tablets here is referring to?
Carry on. And read and as that is.
That is.
Yeah, that is. Well, mostly in his writings and in the Quran, and is very important. Okay. Mostly it means details or while.
Okay. Their deeds preserved in their results.
Now, of course, the purpose of the last phrase, their deeds preserved in their results, aims at teaching us something, reminding us something. But first, he's drawing our attention to what we see here. Practically speaking, in the living beings, their results are preserved in entire life is preserved in their results, which means fruit and the seed in it. It's all preserved. That's a very meaningful creation. So when it comes to human beings, yes, my physical side is reserved in my cells or other, seeds or whatever. Yeah. But it is a preparation of the mind that how about my human side? My feelings, my understandings, reflections of emotional side, human qualities. Do you think they want preserved? That's why I felt that their deeds preserved in their results teaches me that, look, we shouldn't externalize our conclusion that we extract from the creation, saying, look, the trees, all the life stories or qualities throughout their lives are preserved in their seeds, in their fruits, the seed in their fruits. Yes, they are. And what is it to do with me? What I am expected to do, well, okay, they are preserved. It means, okay, human beings are also preserved in their seeds. They call it genetic, preserved in their seeds. Okay. How about the qualities, human qualities? Aren't they going to be reserved? They should, because all the signs here say, look, your qualities also will be reserved. What you thought, what you felt.
So for humans, then the results would be our qualities, or the qualities that we trained and unlocked. So like if we compare
whatever we did,
yeah. So if compared to the trees, the seed, like the materialistic side of the tree.
Yeah, material side.
And that would be like the preserved tablets for the humans that pass, right? You can compare that to this. And then for the trees, the results are the fruits or the leaves or like the outside result of how the seed was like, how it grew and was enhanced.
Yeah, they are all preserved.
And then for humans, then our results or our fruit is the qualities that we train within this universe.
Must also be preserved, because these are the signs to teach me, to conscious beings, to teach me that my feelings,
similar to the tree.
I didn't want to jump into my belief, my conviction, my attitude towards the creator of the universe, and how I feel of myself, how I evaluate myself, regardless of who am I, is who I am. All this state of mind, state of feelings also must be reserved. For what? Yeah, we have to question. That is the main subject. Why are they reserved? What are we going to do if, of course, this if I am going to die and disappear from existence, what is the purpose of reserving them? Meaningless. So there is nothing meaningless in the universe. Why the universe demonstrates or, if you like, acclaims that, hey, my creator doesn't do anything meaningless. So your feelings, your understanding, your attitude, your intentions, all are preserved. It is not for nothing. And when I die, it becomes as if apparently to an end and nothingness comes to a nothingness. It contradicts what I am seeing here. So we have to make sure, or we have to be convinced within ourselves that this creation and my attitudes, my feelings, my thoughts, my however I developed my human qualities must be for a purpose. Yeah. And also, when we learn something, we know that it's preserved. Why? We are going to use it. Yeah. If we are not going to benefit from what we learn, why do we learn it? And why are they preserved? For example, I did something today, I learned something, I developed some skills, some of my skills today. If I'm not going to utilize them tomorrow, what is it good for? These are all very obvious signs for us to understand that definitely they are going to be used. And for what? Now, I wouldn't use the word for a judgment day to be taken into account. No, I wouldn't use that. There is no need, in fact, although it is clearly stated in the Quran and people can get it, we understand that, for a judgment to be taken into account, but I would say, yes, that is what the scripture says. Okay, leave it there. Let me see whether I can confirm it or not. Now, everything is preserved. in the physical side of this world, everything is preserved. And also I am experiencing this preservation within my own life. They are preserved. See the example manifested in the universe. Why do we think that the life story, let's say, life of the whole tree is preserved in one seed? Why? Do you think the seed is going to be judged, going to be taken into account? No. But why do you think it is preserved in the seed? Because in the seed, it will become what? Another embodiment of what it is, what it contains, what is preserved in it. Another. So seed is very small, maybe it looks like nothing. Yes? Materially, it is really useless. But what is recorded in it is going to be used into another form of tree, and it will grow. Now, let's come to our reality, human reality. My feelings, my understanding, my attitude, and everything, it must be preserved for what? For a judgment day? No, you are going to grow into another tree. But this tree is not going to be my body, but this tree will be, or must be, according to the quality of my developments, improvements of my human quality, human side. Because the improvements of the human side is displayed in this world in the form of a talent, knowledge. But when it is preserved, it must be displayed in the form of my exact being, according to the capacity of the talent that I have developed. That's why it must need another type of creation to disclose these preserved qualities that I have developed here from my human side. They need another quality. Because I learn, I experience something, but it is in my feeling only. I don't really physically experience it. For example, if I understand that, look, I am created, I have a creator, very simple example. And my creator must be absolute, I understood. And what I feel here is secure in myself. You know, my body is the same as the person who never developed his skill at all here. But the feelings are different. Now, according to feelings, understanding, the state of mind, and everything are different. But according to our sides, however I felt, however I developed myself here, there must be another type of material, physical existence that I can physically experience what I have done here. Here only hidden, if you like, in the form of meaning. Do you follow? In the form of meaning. Oh, I may confuse you, but it is very simple. Take your place. You don't need, man. No. Please don't. Okay, I'm sorry. I take pity on you. It smells nice. Not you. Yeah. Let them get used to serve. Yeah. If you get married, never do anything that your child can do. Let them do it. Learn. So don't make them dependent on others. Okay. Yeah. Is your cousin? No, nephew. Yeah. So his cousin. Okay. Did you like the brownie? Come closer to the brownie with your plate.
I don't want one.
Really?
Yeah.
Emir, you will be sorry that you rejected the offer. When it finishes, you say, oh, if only I could get one. Are you sure? No, but whenever you want, you can come and say, these are for you. Oh, quite many. Okay. Did I for example, apart from feelings, physically, we don't really experience what talents we have developed, apart from feelings, understanding. But don't you think that it will be fair if these feelings are physically also practiced? It would be fair, eh? Physically also practiced. Then there will be difference between, let's say, a healthy man and unhealthy person. A healthy person and unhealthy person physically, yeah?
What feelings are you talking about?
Human side. How I have developed how much I have developed my human qualities. They are secret in me and within me, and I'm not physically experiencing them here in this world.
Can we take an example, for example? So I enjoy a fruit.
Yeah,
and I acknowledge
yeah.
the merciful one, or that this fruit is pointing to its source. So I see mercy in it. Is that one feeling? Like, oh,
you have developed your human side in this direction. And another person who denied that it is just a natural thing, happened to be accidentally, yeah, and he is also eating physically the same fruit. You are also eating physically the same fruit, but physically it is not demonstrated. The seed is there. The quality in the seed is there. You are experiencing within yourself, the meaning within yourself. No, new creation must be such that you physically experience that as well. For example, when you eat the fruit, you know that the source of the fruit is absolute, merciful, compassion, yeah? But another person says, I eat the fruit and this disappeared, gone. That's it. That's how it is. Now, wouldn't you like that what you feel, or wouldn't you understand that what you feel that this fruit, the source of the fruit, is absolute, and he can create the fruit, and the existence of the fruit physically remains. As you eat it, it doesn't disappear. The difference between the person who said it disappears, that is what hell is. It will disappear physically, and they won't enjoy it. That is and also it is fair that they won't enjoy it. It is fair because they didn't really develop themselves. They didn't really educate themselves in this way. So their spirit is not ready to experience this physically. So paradise is where you eat the fruit and never finishes.
I see what you're saying, because
Physically.
We want things to be permanent, and our experiences are really transient, and what we make out of those experiences, because there's this need of wanting this experience to last forever, like even like the food goes away, but you want it to last forever. So
not only need confirmation of it, that this need is real. And you confirm that, you prepared yourself. For example, two people went to the same class. One of them paid attention to the professor, the other didn't. Now, they go to the same class, physically, they get out of the same class physically the same. But how about learning capacity, human capacity? The capacity of the human side is concerned, one of them has registered, the other one has not. So don't you think it would be fair to see that, or to experience that the one who registered physically shows it, demonstrates and experiences it? For example, do you believe in the Creator is the absolutely merciful, compassionate, wise, just one? You understand that, not you believe because in the form of knowledge. No. Are you convinced about it? No. But you see that, for example, justice is not physically practiced or physically manifested in this world. Justice. Mercy is physically manifested, but on a temporary base. But you know that it shouldn't be temporary. Why don't you expect that this Creator is going to create any type of world where it will be physically also permanent? It should be. It should be permanent. Now everything according to the level of our conviction, it means according to the level of our education of our human side, preparing our soul, accordingly we will be given, if you like, with I am borrowing the word physical, in terms of this world, we will be living in a physical world in the hereafter. That is resurrection. Physically world. Now is we are intellectually feeling wise. For example, I see that my Creator is just, but I may be subject to an injustice action. Right? But I said, my Creator is just, but why I am physically experiencing injustice? You say, shouldn't be. According to the quality of the Creator who must be just. So why wouldn't you like to experience justice physically as well? Because you deserve it. So the physical manifestations of the qualities included in the seed or registered, preserved in the seed are demonstrated in physical form here. When the seed grows into a tree, what you see is nothing but what is registered there, physically. The same thing should be the same, should be for human beings as well. But in this world, I don't experience in my physical life, what I have concluded as a human being. So these demonstrations, these examples in the world are given to us in order to make sure that, yes, we will be physically experiencing however we trained our souls, physically experiencing. Now, the examples of it in the universe is everywhere. And in the scripture also gives exactly the same example as we see it in the universe. We will grow into a physical form, or we will be given a physical form where we will physically experience however we developed or educated, trained our human side. It means which kind of talents we have developed in this world. Nothing is missing. Nothing should be wasted. It's meaningful. Under the witnessing of what we see in the world, and under the witnessing of how we reason about what we see in the world, and extra under the witnessing of what the messengers bring us, the message from the Creator in verbal form, they all confirm each other. There should be no doubt. That's what the Quran said, that there should be no doubt about any matter related to belief. La rayba fi, la rayba fi. There should be no doubt. But if you say, I don't know, it means you haven't studied, you haven't done your assignment, you haven't done your research, your homework. But what we are doing here, we are doing our homework.
Just got a gist from what was said. So basically, when you acknowledge your feelings, any feelings which is pointing to the source.
Now, if it is trained, not every feeling, it's acknowledged. For example, some people use their feelings, but they don't acknowledge what they refer to. They deny, they turn blind to it. So if you acknowledge what they point to,
then you conclude that there must be a place where these feelings...
No, there must be a kind of creation.
A kind of creation where these feelings will be manifested in physical form.
Will be created in physical form. Must be created. Otherwise, to preserve it would be pointless, and it would contradict what I am experiencing in the world. We have to be sure. That's what we are studying this subject. We have to make sure that it is really whatever I develop, improve my feelings and gain talent, I will be practicing it physically in the new creation. There must be a new creation, and this new creation should provide me with this opportunity. That's a sign. I have no reason to say, no, it can't. Manifest example. It's very simple. The seed grows into tree. Very simple. In a physical form. If it is not going to grow into, what is recorded, preserved in the seed, is not going to grow into tree, why do you think it is reserved? So physical resurrection is necessary for human sight. Pointless. If it wasn't, it would be pointless if it wasn't grow, if it wasn't going to grow into a tree, to preserve it for nothing. That's I don't want to use the religious language saying that your iman is not going to be wasted. Don't worry about it, because these are vague languages. Oh, what's my iman? But we have to make real, without hiding the thought behind religious terminology. I'm avoiding the religious terminology. But at the end, when the religious terminology comes to me, when I read it, your iman will not be wasted. I say, yeah, definitely, if I'm sure. But if I am repeating the word that is borrowed from the text, when I read the text, I think, I'm repeating. I will say, I'm repeating. So if I prepare my mind that it must be so, there must be something, when I read the scripture, and when the scripture says your iman is going to be rewarded, and if someone denies and doesn't really acknowledge and educate, but doesn't acknowledge means doesn't educate his soul, prepare his soul to be deserved, to be given into. For example, if the seed had a choice, if choice, if it has a will, free will, choice, if this seed says two options, I'm going to grow into a tree. That's why it is preserved here. All the information is here, written, recorded. That is how it will develop, because accordingly he prepared himself, but he's a choice. Yeah? He doesn't have a choice. That's why it may be a little bit difficult to grasp the example. Just an analogy. But if he had a choice and said, this is preserved in me, it's not for nothing. It can't be for nothing. So it is going to be used. How? Grow into a physical form. Then the first seed has chosen that it is just used as meaningless preservation. Deserves what? No physical experience of what is preserved in it. The second, in the example, second seed preserves to be, that is justice. Now, that is justice. What I learn in the class, accordingly, my talent develops. What I don't learn, accordingly, my talent misses. I didn't learn it. That is the example in front of me.
We're talking about the example you gave of the seed. There can be two choices. Either you cultivate the seed so it goes into a tree.
No, not you cultivate the seed. No. The seed had a choice. And saying that I'm going to grow into a tree deserves to grow into a tree. The other one says, no, it is just waste of time. It's just it's preserved here, but I'm going to die.
Oh, you're giving two attitudes of seeds.
Yeah, yes,
so,
it is. If that's why I reminded you that take the analogy seriously, because not you cultivate it, you don't cultivate it. That is another example for another subject. But if the seed had a choice and understood that it is not going to be used for anything, it deserves what? not to be given anything. Because he had a choice, he rejected the wisdom in his creation. Wisdom of the wisdom in the preservation of these qualities in itself, and the wisdom says you don't deserve it. Like a student goes to class, everybody goes to class. We are in the universe. No one can escape the class as long as we are given existence in this world. So go to classes, and the professor is teaching something, and he says, what am I going to do if I learn it or not? Why? Because it's for nothing. Yeah. I'm going to get out of the class, and it will be not used for anything, the knowledge. What does he deserve? Zero, nothing. Right? Nothing. But if someone says, no, I'm going to use it after I get out of the class, then he deserves to develop their talents and becomes an expert on the subject. The other one, nothing. He didn't really appreciate it. He didn't really appreciate the wisdom in the creation of this event that the professor is teaching. He can learn it. He didn't appreciate it. So that's why he just took it lightly and forgot it as soon as he got out of the class. He said, I'm going to go to the dining room and have my dinner with my friends and watch my, I don't know, iPhone, play with my iPhone, a kind of games or something. He doesn't deserve it. He doesn't deserve it. That is the wisdom in creation.
That totally makes sense. I'm trying to connect this back to Thursday's class where you mentioned the two kinds of trees. Is that what we can connect the analogy as well, where if somebody is in compliance with their human nature, which necessitate to take that choice of developing your potentialities, and then that becomes a tree of paradise, as opposed to the one who's just hanging out in the cafeteria.
Yeah.
So but there's still a tree for such kind of attitude, which is called a tree.
No benefit. It's just void. That doesn't bring anything. That's why it is called the fruit of which causes you more hunger than satisfaction.
So that's the consequence.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the. I mean, if everybody goes to school after graduation, okay. Let's say you studied, you paid attention. You said, what I am going to use is going to be utilized, and I will practice it physically. Yeah. I said, it is for nothing. Why should I bother? After the graduation, both of us live in the world, but I have no quality, no talent developed. I know nothing. I cannot do anything. That's hell. But the other one does it. Does what he puts into practice, what he has learned, and he benefits from it. But because I deny, I don't benefit from it. Do you get it? It's very simple. But physically, he has two hands. I have two hands as well. He has his body. I have my body as well. But my body gives no fruit, no benefit to me, because I haven't learned anything, because I denied the wisdom in the creation of this relationship, the classroom relationship. It means the professor is teaching, I have to learn, and I have to utilize it after graduation, put it into practice. The other one said, it's pointless. No wisdom. Now, I think, did you want to say? No. You want to say, but somebody wanted to say something before, but it was you. But you have the priority.
So just to simplify it, so in this type of life or existence, we're all given the same body, the same physical appearance. So I'll have this body with certain qualities that are in common with everyone else. And then through our experiences and interactions, then I can train my human qualities, right? And then still in this type of life, we're all
in this
type of life or type of existence.
Type of life.
Yeah. So in this world that we experience, we're all physically the same. But then the qualities that I trained in this life, I'm given a form depending on those qualities in the other life. That's eternal.
Put it into physical form.
Yeah. So in this life, we're all given the physical form with the same qualities. But on the human side, you have to develop that. And then in the other life, you're given a form depending on the qualities that you had in this life, or you trained in this life.
Must be so.
Mhm.
It must be.
Mhm.
Otherwise, we would deny the wisdom in the existence of this world.
So this concept of like the result of a deed, the final part of that sentence says, and their deeds preserved in their results.
But deed, what do you understand from deed?
So I'm trying to, the analogy that comes to me that we've been talking about is with the tree. So if I'm aware, if I'm conscious of the existence that's happening here and now, in this moment, that everything is being given, being created by my maker for the sole purpose of education, then this consciousness is what flows into akhirah, or this concept of this eternity right now.
What is akhirah?
So
result of my existence here.
So the deed right now is the existence right now, that's happening right now. And if I'm aware of the source of this existence right now, then this moment is then the result of this moment is flowing or connected to this tree that's developing here and now into akhirah, or this eternal existence.
Must be preserved.
And just
we try to avoid using this religious terminology. So develop a terminology that convinces you without using religious concepts. So the religious concepts, to use the religious concepts while you are reasoning is very dangerous. It blocks the way of thinking, reasoning. Yeah, when you say akhirah, you borrowed from your culture and you just don't know what it means. That's why you use the akhirah, the word akhirah. But you explain, and with your own language, you use your own language. And then when you hear the word akhirah in the scripture, you say, this word, what I understood, refers to what I understood, and that's correct. So the religious terminology is not to be exploited, but to be confirmed. We have to prepare ourselves to confirm the religious terminology. Not to exploit it. Use it and get away with it. So that's, I'm very sensitive about it, you know that. So while you are reasoning, but while you are praying, yes, you use akhirah. But it means the result of your conclusion, result of your previous studies. Yeah, you put it into practice. But while you are reasoning, you have to use your own language and be careful that your language makes sense to you without hiding behind religious terminology. If I say, I don't believe in akhirah, what would you say? You have nothing to say. It means you are not convinced about it. Religious terminology is used by the people who have not convinced about the truthfulness of the content of these terminology. That's why you cannot express it, because you're not convinced about it in this world. That is important methodologically. Because we are reasoning here. I keep saying that in this class, using religious terminology and previous culture, borrowed information is prohibited, because we have to develop our own conclusions and be convinced about them. Yeah, that's why we don't. We say always, "Oh, if you want to learn this, go to the masjid," because they base all their arguments on religious terminology. If you say I don't believe in the akhirat, are you an unbeliever, non-Muslim? That the context is completely different.
So I have a question. So a seed has engraved inside of it all the qualities that it needs to become a tree, right? But if it's left to itself just a seed, it's not going to grow into a tree. It needs to be put in the soil,
That's
water,
attitude.
sun.
We are talking about a seed which, if had free will.
No, I'm not talking about that.
Not what am I going to do with this seed? No. That was just an analogy, but hypothetical analogy, because none of the seeds had any free will. If they had, why we make this analogy, although it is hypothetical, because I am going to apply it to myself. I have free will.
Yeah, so I'm not talking about that example. I'm talking in general. So a seed has the qualities it needs to become a tree, but without the physical factors that help it to become a tree, it doesn't result into a tree. So for us,
in this world,
yeah, exactly. So if I compare that to me as a human, my human qualities, if left alone, I'm just trying to see what. So the seed needs some physical factors to help it become a tree. So for me as a human being, my human qualities need some factors to help it become or grow into this tree. So what can be compared to those factors, like the soil, the sun, the water, air?
A new type of creation. Because in this creation, you, for example, eat and enjoy a fruit. Example. Fruit is a good example. Prepared. You don't have to refer it to a cook or your mother. He prepared the super. It's already there, fully, completely prepared for you, just to eat it with no effort. And your human side says this is the act of absolute creator, sustainer, who sustains himself. His act of creation is eternal, absolute, because his creatorship is absolute. But when you eat the fruit, what happens? Fruit disappears. You don't see the manifestation of what you have concluded out of that. So there must be another type of creation where your conclusion physically will be physically practiced. You deserve it.
Okay, so
another type of creation.
Yes,
I don't know
so
what the word is.
My main point is that the seed needs some assistance to become a tree.
This is this one.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, in this world.
Yeah.
So in this world, I need to
as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, in this world, I need to train my human qualities to become a tree in the other form.
So, but does it become a tree here physically?
No, it doesn't.
No, that's why. Yeah. Conclude now.
Yeah. So then, to enhance my qualities, I must need something to assist me similarly to the seed that needs some assistance to become a tree.
So who can assist you?
Yeah, so I'm just trying to compare
whoever gave existence to this world must give existence to another type of creation where I can physically practice what I have concluded. I am not going to do it which kind of means I need. For example, here, water, soil, air, and sunlight, or the other elements. But I'm not going to do it. I don't have to know. But what I know, I'm sure that the one who creates this world and really displays this characteristics or the what what I'm experiencing here, the type of creation, hinting that there must be another type of creator, he will do it. So, do we need any means for the existence of this universe, or do we just find it? Yeah, it is given. Huh? The new type of creation also must be found as it is given. It means whoever created this world must create what I deserve to be treated. It is the wisdom. There is no way to deny it. There is no way to doubt it, because there is no reason to doubt it. Here is what I'm experiencing.
Can I?
You are the nearest. No, he will go.
Okay.
They also can do it. Do you think he is not qualified to do that?
No, I just don't know if he knows the people that usually come.
Yeah, well, let him experience that.
Right.
Dr. Ali, can I just interject? What I understood from Abdul Rahman, right? His question was, here, we're given our human qualities. So for example, physically, when we see a seed, in order for it to grow into a tree, follow the order, water, soil, whatever. But like, in terms of my human qualities, what am I given? What was that your question? What am I given to enhance that?
Right, yeah, what I need.
Yeah, so what do I need to
Well,
do? So what I understand from that is that I think you utilize yourself. Oh,
Honey, come here, Tara.
He'll come in.
you utilize yourself, I would say. You utilize yourself.
So
Here.
you need to,
Utilize yourself.
yeah, utilize yourself.
Yes.
Yeah.
In order to, I guess, work on your human qualities to enhance them, so the whole acknowledgement process that we go through here, so we're really working on our human qualities. So it's really utilizing yourself, your tools, everything that's given to you, like the physical senses and the reasoning to acknowledge and come to a conclusion. That's what I understood from the question.
Okay. Their deeds preserved in their results. What are the deeds?
Outcome.
Yeah, their outcome. Outcome of their education. We shouldn't reduce the word deeds, which is the translation of the word in the Quran, a'mal. It is very important that we should understand that deeds means my evaluation. We haven't reached that page yet, Andrew. So you can take it, but we are reading, and I don't have an extra page. Yeah. Now, outcome of my understanding is my perception of existence, my attitude towards existence is my deed. For example, again, the example of the class is very important, going to class school, because the university is a school. We have to see ourselves as students in the school. So, what are the deeds of the student? Being a student, deed side of it.
Our
Yeah.
conclusion.
Sorry?
Our conclusion.
Conclusion. What, as far as the student going to class and coming out of, what is the conclusion?
What I learned.
What you learn, not being in the class. Everybody is in the class. You cannot get out of the class. What you learned, how you developed your human quality. These are the deeds. Unfortunately, these are understood as independent entity from your learning. As if, have you been to the class? Have you sat at the desk? Right? And you were present in the class? That's your deed. It's nothing. As a student, it's nothing. To sit in the class is nothing. What is the deed? What you have learned. This is the deed. That's the outcome of it. Outcome of going to the class. So we do everything in this world, whether we believe or not, we do. For example, if I believe that the example, the grape is the act of absolutely merciful one, and I eat the grape. If someone doesn't believe that the grape is not the act of the merciful one, but it's an accidental thing, happened naturally like that, so he eats the same one. As far as the deed is concerned, we are doing the same thing. Right? We have to understand this. It's a very misunderstood concept in, I don't know, let's be more specific, in the among the people who claim to follow the Quran. Did. But we are doing the same thing. I'm eating the grape. The person who doesn't believe and confirm that it is the gift of an absolutely merciful one, it says it is just naturally happened to be like this, and I'm benefiting from it, and finished. We are doing, action-wise, we are doing the same thing. So if you understand deed only in terms of physical action, what happens at the end? The term which is used in the scripture, amal, that is translated as deeds, turns into what? Your prayer, your fasting. Not your learning. You're educating yourself. Going to the class and not learning anything. Not paying attention to the professor, what the professor teaches you. So, have you been to the class? Yeah, you did the deed. It's not the term of the Quran. So, everybody is in the class anyways. That's why when you say good deeds, as it is used in the Quran, amal, hasanat, or salihat, the Quran says this. So when it comes to good deeds, what are the good deeds? Drinking water. Bad deeds, drinking alcohol. How reduction, how horrible understanding. Do you understand that? When you drink water, your deed is good. When you drink alcohol, your deed is bad. How about your understanding? How about your human side? That's physical. There's a physical appearance of choice, something, alcohol or physics or water. But while you are drinking water, which kind of human qualities are being educated through this physical action? While you are drinking water, a person who may reduce everything to natural events, he drinks water as well. Do you think it's a good action? Drinking water as compared to alcohol? Not at all. Because the purpose in the existence of this thirst, quenching the thirst, existence of water, is to teach you that the source is giving you this as a gift. to acknowledge that he is really merciful one, acknowledge the source of the existence of the water. Now, if we are not careful about this word, deeds, that is what you learned in the class. But if we just reduce it to some physical form of actions, we make good deeds as drinking water, bad deeds as drinking alcohol. It is it is correct, but it is a fraction of what Quran means. It's just a fraction. Yes, we shouldn't drink. We shouldn't prefer to drink alcohol, according to teachings of the Quran. But to understand the word good actions, good deeds, only in this term contradicts the purpose of the teaching of the Quran. The purpose of the teachings of the Quran is what? When you attend the class, you have to learn what the professor teaches you. When you attend this class of the universe, you have to learn what the author of this universe is teaching. Not water and alcohol. Whether it is alcohol, or it is water, what does it represent in its existence? So, very narrow-minded attitude that we see among the students of the Quran who understands this terminology of the Quran in terms of prohibited things and allowed things only. Yes, they are there, we don't deny that, but the Quran's aim is not to make you drink water rather than alcohol. So in this word, you drank all water, but you didn't acknowledge the water as to be a form of manifested or concretized, I would say, become materialized form of mercy. If you don't realize that it is a materialized form of mercy, you lost the opportunity. But the Quran's purpose cannot be to make people drink water rather than alcohol. It is so simplistic. All the teachings of the Quran, the rest of the Quran goes into trash can because the rest of the Quran teaches you your approach towards what is already created. So if you say, again, what is good to eat halal meat? What is bad? To eat bacon, right? So as far as the teachings, the main teachings of the Quran is everything glorifies God, even the pigs, right? It contradicts our understanding that. If you reduce the Quran's good deed to only certain actions, or it means the Quranic term is amal salih, certain actions. Yes, they are there, but it's not the aim of the Quran, really, ultimate aim. The ultimate aim of the Quran, by creating either the cow or the sheep or the pig, to teach you who is the creator and how wonderful qualities he has. There is no difference between the creation of the pig and creation of the sheep. Demonstrates the same qualities of the creator. That is the purpose of the Quran, to acknowledge the qualities manifested in the existence of either sheep or pig. That is the main. Maybe a fraction out of 1,000 or something portion of it, practically you acknowledge the how do you say, direction or education, physical practical education, practically put it into practice. You acknowledge the will of the Creator by not eating bacon but eating sheep. But this is not the ultimate purpose of the Quran. We have to understand, I'm very sensitive about this word, and unfortunately, not many people are aware of the content of the importance of this word. So their deeds preserved in their results. Our deeds, it means deeds of what? Reflection, conclusion, conviction, confirming, and submitting to what we have concluded. Being consistent, submitting means being consistent to what we have concluded from or through observing the creation. Consistent. That is Muslim. Muslim means what? Somebody submits to what? Don't say the will of God. It is very reductionist.
Reality.
To the reality that you are experiencing in this world, and your human qualities acknowledge these realities and be consistent with these realities. That is Muslim. Not Muslim doesn't mean the pray or a fast. Yeah, acknowledge. It means we summarize it in our classes with the language what? Be consistent within yourself. That is what the Quran teaches. Be consistent with your humanity. But at the end, action-wise, also you don't really eat bacon. But that is at the very end. Very end. As far as the teaching, the purpose of the teachings of the Quran is concerned, it's the very end. That it is mentioned only once: don't eat pig. That's it. Or don't eat. You don't eat pig. You eat bacon. Yeah. Okay.
The Creator keeps them in various mirrors in the visible and unseen worlds.
Yeah, we know that mirrors, everything is preserved in the mirrors in the visible and unseen world. How do we understand in this world that everything is kept in the visible and unseen world, the unseen side, in the meanings? Yeah, also they are kept there, because when you get the meaning, it is in you, so you treat accordingly. You sent today. Did you get my last email today? Just 2 hours ago, maybe. No, you sent the same thing again, and without attachment, Hankel or yeah, whatever it says. Then they are not very common languages. Why don't you use John and Martin or John and Mike? Or okay. No. This is my culture. I don't know the name. So one of them trusts the host. The other one doesn't trust. It was a simple, beautiful teaching. Constructive, instructive, constructive example. And if I trust the host, I'm comfortable in my humanity. Comfort. It means consistent within myself. If I don't trust the host, I am always alert. Everything bothers me. Everything threatens my life, because I'm really afraid of death. Why? Well, by the way, one may be afraid of death What is the reason? Because thinks that death is the end of his existence. The more we are convinced that death cannot be end of my existence, more relaxed I will be towards death. Depending on my conviction, depending on my interpretation, I am free to interpret it in either way. So, the invisible words here inside me, that is called my conviction, inside me is invisible. You don't see it. But I experience it, but physically we are the same, living or Hansel and
Gretel. It's based on that fable.
Maybe it's a story or something.
Right.
There's a book, yeah.
Kid's story.
So I don't know that. That's why it is difficult for me to even remember the names. So these two people, the difference, physically, one of them is living in one room, the other one is living in another room. Physically, they are in the same physical conditions, but one of them is consistent with himself and doesn't bother about anything because trusts the host. The other one doesn't. So their experience, but here unseen experience, is completely different or contradictory. In the example, of course.
Should I continue? It is as if many things have been charged with recording whatever we do, how we behave towards the living and non-living entities with which we have some relation.
Now, this sentence also needs interpretation. How, lately I am emphasizing on the importance of this point, how the text says how we behave towards the living and non-living entities. How do we do that? We understand, we have to treat the living entities and non-living entities kindly. It means we have to respect animals, we have to respect trees, we have to respect the atmosphere, where atmosphere is a non-living entity. We have to respect geographical, ecological conditions, environment, actually. Yeah, that is true, but it cannot be the purpose of the teachings of the Quran. Anybody uses normally his human qualities without corruption, falling into ambitions or carnal desires, accepts this. Even those people who corrupt their human qualities, still they understand that the environment must be respected. So we don't need divine guidance for it, because it is in us. It is within us, hardwired in our being. I don't need extra verbal explanations, reminders. So if the verbal reminder teaches me something, it should teach me that I cannot easily grasp. What does it mean here as far as this sentence is concerned? What do we think that the purpose of the teachings of my Creator in verbal explanation to teach me you have to behave nicely towards the living and non-living entities? What does it mean? What do you think you expect your Creator to explain? Behave nicely.
Because ultimately everything points to the same source, whether it's a living or non-living thing. So you look at from your observation in the universe, when you question how things are coming into existence, it could be anything, like a piece of...
No, it doesn't matter. Yeah, okay, that's it. So do you think, what do you think the purpose of the verbal explanation of the Creator of this world asking me to behave nicely towards beings in general? There is no need to make the distinction between the living or non-living being.
It's in conformity with how one is made. So if you're really following your human nature.
What does it mean? I understand where you are going. What does it mean to behave nicely to beings? Give me an example.
Behave nicely to beings.
Yeah, as appropriate to your nature.
Well, you're looking at a plant about to need it. The plant is in need of something, maybe water or something. So you water
So
it.
you go to the biology class or the botany class.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need the divine guidance for it. They teach you better than the Quran teaches you.
Next, go ahead, Kas.
Okay.
So I think it's I mean, the way I understand it is that you're not necessarily you're interacting with the beings, but your behavior isn't for necessarily just for the beings. For example, if I was a guest in your house and I started, I don't know, breaking down your furniture, my behavior or my misbehavior in that case isn't just towards the item itself, but it's also towards the host to which the item belongs to.
Okay, apply it to your practical life in your relationship with the universe environment, in the environment that you are living in.
Use the same example as the plant in that case. So I'm not.
Doesn't work.
How would you say
No.
so?
I think we need to repeat the question. What's the question? How do we?
Maybe
Go ahead, Sarah,
this
repeat it.
lady can help us.
So the question is why it's in my humanity to behave nicely to living and non-living beings already, whether there's belief or not.
What's
It's already within my humanity to behave nicely to people and objects, regardless, because it's within my humanity. So the question is, why do I need the verbal reminder from my creator to tell me behave nicely if it's already within my human nature to behave nicely as I understand the word nicely?
What is nicely?
So then the question is, what is nicely, and why is my creator telling me to do that? Because there's some sort of education being told to me through that sentence, and the education is to witness the quality or the meaning of that act of behaving nicely through me or through others, and then that act of witnessing becomes the learning, witnessing the quality of nice.
Speak to me, not to your next neighbor. We have to generalize it. Yeah.
So
To
if my
everybody.
creator is telling me to behave nicely, and it's already within my human nature to do that, my creator is asking me or calling me to witness something through the act of through the action of being nice or behaving nicely. My maker is asking me to witness that quality consciously, or acknowledge that this niceness has been instilled within my existence as a demonstration of the one who made me.
How about the object itself? I'll give you an example. Now you are invited to a friend's house, and you are giving the food offered. They offer you food, especially if you come from Eastern world. Definitely, they offer the food. Without offering the food or making you eat it, they wouldn't let you go. So, okay. You behaved nicely to the food. It means you didn't scatter it, you didn't crumble around, you didn't destroy it. You really respected the food perfectly. You ate it. Yeah? You didn't waste it. Do you think this is the purpose? What is the purpose? That your friend offers you food. That is not bad, by the way. Offers the food. What is the purpose in offering the food to you?
To acknowledge that I need food.
Yeah, but just to make you not waste it, not scatter it, or to acknowledge that I am the guest. I am the host. Sorry, you are the guest. Okay? To acknowledge that I love you, I respect you. Yeah. Through offering the food, I am transferring my interest, my love, my concern, my friendship towards you. I am transferring the message. Now, if you eat the food nicely, perfectly, and say that I found the food here, representing no meaning at all, example, then extreme examples are good to let us realize what's going on. Experiencing no, or driving no meaning out of it, and I really respect the food as food, not as gift or message bearer. I am the host. Put yourself in my position. You are the host. The person comes and eats this and benefits from the food and respects the food itself physically, but doesn't acknowledge your message and doesn't say that, oh, you are a nice person and you are a nice friend. You want to be nice to me. You are kind to me. Yeah. Thank you very much. Understand? Appreciates me, not the food. My attitude. Because the food is a means of what? Conveying what I have feelings towards you. Okay? It's very simple. So when we say that, of course, the human beings can know from their physical existence as we are created right now, we don't need extra guidance, that really the food should not be wasted. Even the atheists are propagating that environment must be respected, right? Not the Muslims or believers or Christians or some other believers in propagating that environment must be preserved, but the atheists say, no, 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 you can't destroy it. Just the opposite. What is the point in teachings of the Quran then? Saying that you have to respect the living and non-living beings. Is the Quran teaching atheistic ideas? What is it teaching? What is it teaching? Sorry?
Battery design.
Oh, sorry. Thank you. What is the point? We are reading the Quran from the reversed purpose. We have to respect the environment for the sake of the message it brings to me. Physically, yes, we do it. Everybody does it. You don't have to need a divine guidance to learn that you shouldn't destroy the forests, for example. Rainforests are very important, they say. Yeah, you shouldn't really pollute the air. We don't need divine guidance for it. We reduce the Quran to materialistic lifestyle, unfortunately. Our minds are not trained there. Why the heavy, if you like, propaganda or the method that we are exposed to by the people who speak in the name of religion, but don't convey the message of the Quran, although they quote the verses of the Quran, but they don't convey the message of the Quran because they don't see the purpose of the Quran. They don't read the Quran in order to teach or understand the objectives, the purposes of the Quran. They materialize the Quran. That's why our mind doesn't work there. I'm not blaming anybody. You don't hear this. Respecting the non-being creatures, beings, non-living beings or living beings is not for the sake of next generation. It is so simplistic and it's not stupid. Because what is the purpose? What is the purpose for the next generation? Well, they will die and disappear and become a compost anyways. Why should I bother? Even why should I bother about myself? I will end up with being a compost anyways. Do you think the purpose of my Creator speaks to me in order to teach what an atheist easily can understand? No, it is a very devastating insult to the teachings of the Quran, unfortunately. What? What's that?
1:40.
Time is up. Really more than. Why didn't you remind me before? It's
just-
just 20.
Just saw it myself right now.
11. Yeah, today is 26. We have to stop here and immediately pray. Thank you very much. And inshallah, we have to reflect on this more. Yeah, how do we respect? How do we behave towards living and non-living beings as far as the purpose of our existence is concerned, which is the concern of the Quran. Otherwise, you don't need the Quran, you don't need any reminder. You can be an atheist and respect the environment. It's ridiculous, pointless, contradicts. Why do you respect the environment since you are going to compose anyways? It is the accident. Why do you respect something which happened accidentally out there? Pointless, it's contradiction. But unfortunately, what we do, we assume this contradiction, pointless understanding, and apply it to the Quran. It is an insult to the Quran. It means we get nothing out of the Quran if we have this attitude. Unfortunately, that's why Quran doesn't have any effect in our life. We don't get the message. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Subhanaka la ilma lana illa ma 'allamtana innaka antal alimul hakim. Wa akhiru da'wahum alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin.